Yeah, I remember growing up, everything was made in Taiwan. And it's like, or Japan. Remember, everything was made in Japan, made in Japan, made in Taiwan. Now everything's made in China. Unbelievable. So anyway, happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Stayed up to about 3:30 in the morning watching the election results. And I know that half the country is disappointed and upset, and half the country is elated. So, doesn't matter what side you're on. Just realize that, if those of us that are of faith, you realize that God's got it in his hands and we're all going to be fine. I've lived through a lot of presidents I've lived from, like I said, what's his name, Nixon through Biden, and could not tell you that my way of life has changed during any of them. Really, to be honest with you, you live in a small community, and life is really good. Live on a little farm, got everything good, got food, got water, got clothing, got shelter, got family, and everything's good. So everybody just kind of, just relax and kind of go with it. Had a lot of fun last night though, watching the results and flipping the channels and everything. It was something, and I spent a lot of time on Twitter last night, which was kind of interesting. I'm not really a Twitter guy, but it's amazing how news flows out of Twitter faster than anything else. It's amazing the speed at which it goes, and I think the legacy media is way behind. I woke up this morning, I checked MSNBC, and they still have not called the election, and CNN, and I don't know if CNN's even called it yet. It's just amazing, and you're getting all this results already on Twitter. I guess you have to decide what's true and what's not true, but it is interesting. So I think that, if you're looking at what we do, it's business as usual. I think business normally the stock market does better under Democrat presidents than Republican presidents. You wouldn't think that, but I think history shows us that. But I think we should be fine. If you're talking about electric vehicles and things of that nature, maybe the solar energy will not be as big as it would have been under Harris, under Trump. But then you think about the energy companies, drill baby drill, that may be less regulation for them and more fossil fuel production and consumption and kind of things going that way. So you just got to pick your winners. It's kind of like when I talk to students at high schools, I tell them that this country was built of the people, by the people, and for the people, and that's not correct. This is a nation of the corporation, by the corporation, and for the corporation. And that simply means that the corporate interests generally are more important to the politicians than the interests of individuals within the citizenry. And we're fortunate in the United States that fortunately a lot of the values of the corporations align with the values of the people, but sometimes that they are at odds, right? And that's when you get these people that, are throwing all the dirty chemicals and stuff in the water, and they don't care, it's messing up the wildlife and things of that nature. So it has to be regulated to some point. You don't want business to totally be unchecked, but at the same time, I don't want my guy, that's cutting my grass. I don't want him to have licensures and all kind of regulations of his business and making sure that his lawnmower is EPA approved and all this. I mean, you can overdo it. A guy with a chainsaw, you don't, I mean, as long as he does the job, I will reward him by having him come back and do more jobs. I don't need the government, licensing him. So it's got to where licensure of different things and regulations is a little bit too much at places. And in some places, it's not enough. So we just have to be mindful of that. So I think as far as we go and what we're doing now in the TQQQ, I think it's business as usual. I think that we will continue to find innovation within technology, and that the technology sector will do just fine, whether it's under either president. Stefan says, my American friends, please don't tariff me out of my Canadian manufacturing job. Well, hopefully we won't. And I think if I understand how Trump has kind of used these in the past, he uses this as a bargaining. He threatens them, and then to try to get everything on an even keel. And I hope that the tariffs aren't a ton of tariffs. I hope that they're able to work out deals for manufacturing because, I'll give you an example. My children's book, which if you do not have for your children, go to sweetbobby.com and order a copy for your child or grandchild, called Blossom Possum Learns to Save. I wanted to have that book printed in the US. So I contacted some American printers, and there was a printer in my county called Gateway Printing. And I said, what can you print this for me as a hardback book? And they said $20 a book. And I go, well, that's kind of what I'm charging for the book. So I couldn't do that. And I was able to have the book printed and shipped to my home for $4 a book, and excellent quality, by the way, that the Chinese press did with my book. So can you imagine now all of a sudden I've got a new book coming out called The Graduate Millionaire. And now I've got to have another printer. And if I have my printer from China, and now all of a sudden, if they bump the cost of my book up to $20, then I'm like, well, I can't sell the book. I'd rather not print it than print it and, or do a print on demand or something through Amazon, or do it as a digital book. So there's a lot to, tariffs affects people like me, little Bobby here, that writes a couple of books. So, oh, good, Stefan, you've got my book. It's great. Well, I appreciate that. So, and the quality is excellent. It's printed in China. And, if I had to pay a tariff on that to bring it up to $20, what would I do? I probably would not have printed the book, and kids would not get to enjoy the book because you just couldn't break even on it. So anyway, lots of things to talk about. So I hope everybody is, at least, if you're happy and you're elated this morning, congratulations on your candidate winning. If your candidate didn't win, take a look back and go, hey guys, let's regroup and let's get them next time. And you know how it changes. I mean, it seems like you're celebrating one moment and you're disappointed the next, kind of like, Alabama. Here's what it felt like last night. If you're a Trump fan, it felt like Alabama beating Georgia this year. And you go, oh man, what a wipeout. And the next thing you know, you're getting beat by Vanderbilt. So, those feelings are short-lived. So, let's all keep it on an even keel there. So anyway, the market is loving it. And I think they're loving it probably because the president is not, it's not in doubt, right? It was a clear victory. And I think the market probably likes that regardless of who was elected. And it looks like the Senate is going the president's way as well. So maybe there's less standoff in Washington. I don't know. I'm just trying to guess here. The market's up 2.17%. The NASDAQ up 2.29%. Volume looks a little elevated today. And look at this, y'all. The VIX was above 20. And now it's all the way down to 16. Isn't that crazy? So volatility really came out of the market. And we got the Fed meeting when? Is that today, tomorrow, or something coming up? So, we got that going on. You would think this would be elevated a little bit, but apparently not. Now, what's this? What's this on the Big Green Monster? We went from oversold to fairly priced, and look where we go. We go right to that 50% line. We go right to the 50% line. So we are fairly priced, maybe overdone a little bit. Point of controls down here. If we spend some time here, point of control will move up here. And of course, we've got these pockets where it would like to explore price. Let's look at the E-minis. The E-minis up 2.18%. And boom, where does it go? It goes to the 50% line. Just crazy how similar these is. And this one is more bullish because the point of control is already up in this area. So there probably is no retracement back to this area, maybe back to this area. Let's look at the linear regression. It just jumped out from my chart and said, screw you, Bobby. I know you've got these little lines drawn here conveniently, But screw that. We are very, very happy today with the market, with the results, and that there's no, the market does not like confusion. You know, the market does not like uncertainty. And so we've got a certainty. We don't know who won the House yet, how that's going to pan out, but there's no uncertainty in the Senate. There's no uncertainty in the presidential election. And I think the market is rewarding that. Now I started to say I'm going to apologize, but I'm not going to apologize. It's my plan. I can change it if I want to. And I did make a slight adjustment to the plan, and I want to go over it really quick like. So the only thing that I changed on your plan, so now I'm going to post a different version. Now, for those of you that have bought the plan, send me an email again, say, Bobby, give me the updated plan. November 5th, I hope there's no other plan change at all. But I had a thought process, and I go, wait a minute. During the federal funds rate cash trigger, where we calculate the 3 months change in the federal funds rate, and if that is equal or greater than 0.5% over a 3-month basis, we went to 100%, 100% cash. Y'all remember that, right? And so I thought, wait a minute, let's look at that market and see if there would have been better allocations of our money. So what we did is I went back to Claude and I said, Claude, test various percentages of SQQQ and bill or cash. And it did 20, 80, 80, 20, 70, 30, 30, 70, 60, 40, 50, 50. It did all of the things and found out that on a risk adjusted basis. Now, if you wanted to really make more money, you go to 100% SQQQ, but the maximum drawdown was much bigger. So what we kind of decided on as far as a Sharpe ratio and a risk adjusted returns, we decided that this was best. So if the Fed funds rate is triggered, we're going to move to 30% SQQQ, and instead of 100% cash, we're going to go to 70% cash or bill. Okay, so that's just a minor change. Now, if you do have the spreadsheet, you'll want to get now we're not in this environment right now, but you'll want to get the new spreadsheet, which has the federal funds trigger on it. So basically, if this triggers, then it puts you into 70% bill and 30% SQQQ. So just had to amend the formulas just a little bit. But if you just want to keep the same spreadsheet and say, screw that, Bobby, I'm just going to 100% cash if we're in a rising rate environment, then continue to do that. I will show you the difference on the thing. You remember, here are the months that we did it, right? Here are the months that we went to cash before. So now we're going into 30% SQQQ and 70% cash. And the monthly profit and loss, look at this. We lost 1.5 million. We made 4.3 million. We lost 6.2. We made 1.3, made 4.5, lost 5.2. We made 1.2, made 5.1, made 5.8, lost 5.5. Look at this, y'all. Made 12 million and then made 190,000. So I think this was getting us up to about $127 million or so. And now this gets you, I know these numbers are incredible, and you're like, I can't believe them. And that's why I'm offering this back test to anybody that wants to go over the numbers and pour over the numbers. But if you'll see, the back test was amazing. Instead of 127 or $130 million, it turned out that this brought the account up to $167 million. Just phenomenal return. So this created, how much money was that altogether? I think this all together created like an extra, I don't know. I thought I had it added up at some point, but I don't have it now. But it was a lot of money. This was like 127 or so. So maybe $40 million we added by doing this small little adjustment. Now, will that work in the future? We don't know. And I'm overfitting and doing everything that, I possibly can in violating in the back test. Let's look at our accounts today. Our two little accounts that we're trading, having a nice day. We're up $633 on the day. Let's see what things are doing. TMF is down 23%. Look at this, y'all. Is down $248 on the day. Thank God, right? Thank God that our formula only has us in having about 9% of TMF. TMF is having a pretty down day, right? $248. But look at this, y'all. We're making $1,161 on our TQQ today. So overall, we're up $633, which is really, really cool. So let's look at our, let's see, let's look at, what did I want to look at? Let's look at this, which is our analysis tool here, if it will pop up. And let's see how things are going. Today is the 6th. And looks like we've got a $43,000 hedge. Let's get everything up and snuffy. 33. What's up here? Is it making me log in again? Yeah, here we go. So we'll log in. All right. Let's look at it again. So this shows TQQ down 60%. Oh, it says 59,000 now. Let's make sure everything's right here. $59,000 hedge, right? 11.6. Okay, I'll go with that. And so we've got a nice hedge in place in the event that the market collapses. So what I'm going to do is, for those of you that have the link, and Rick's in here, what I'm going to do, Rick, is I'm going to update the spreadsheet. I'm going to put in this new version, the ultimate back test, with this version, so that you guys can kind of pour over the results and make sure everything's right. But anyway, so hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. I love you all. Thank you for being here. And we'll get you this. Anybody that wants this back test information, send me a message and we'll get it out to everybody. We want to make sure this is right, but I think we've got a strong little program. Well, let's just see how we're doing this month. Let's see. We started this month off at, be nice to just kind of check. We've had a couple of good days with the market. We were at 75,300 and now we are at 76,300. So we're up about $1,000 on the account this month, which is really, really good. All right, y'all, have a good rest of your day. Love you all, and I will see y'all tomorrow.